Alright, so I got a pretty unique one today. This isn't necessarily entertainment or how-to like what I normally do, but just bear with me, and even if you have any advice, drop something in the comments there for me. So anyways, you all know I'm driving this old 84 Mustang. I'm lovingly called the Rotstang now, I guess, but anyway, I'm driving it all through the winter, and it's January here, and we started to get into some rain. Now, it handles normal rain just fine, but if you go through big puddles, it seems to splash up on the distributor and get it wet, and the car kind of runs like garbage, and that's because it has water under the distributor cap. So, some things we're looking at here. I got to looking at it closer, and it's a two-piece distributor body deal here, which is unique. Now, taking a closer look, there is no sealing surface really on the bottom of this guy. So I finally located where my issue is coming from, where I get water in the distributor from. And this is just interesting. Now, I didn't build this car, so I probably wouldn't have gone with this distributor, but I have no complaints. It's a digital 6AL system here and just has no vacuum advance. It's a race distributor. At least that's its intentionality in its design. So pretty unique deal, not having having a two-piece body there. And then it has a vent on top of, you can kind of see it in there, on top of the cap. Now, I contacted MSD about this, and they kind of gave me the generic runaround. They said, well, if you're getting moisture in your distributor, drill 2 holes, like 1/8-inch holes in the side of your distributor body. And I thought, that is not good advice. That's not going to fix it. So I've had other suggestions from folks about using marine distributor caps, but anyway, this is low buck city here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to slap a little bit of gasket sealer around the bottom surface of this guy, and if you look really close, you can see that's actually where the water's been getting in at. And then I'm going to go ahead and I tried the grease deal on the top of the sealing surface of the cap, and that worked tremendously well. You know, I intentionally went through puddles to see how I'd handle it, but if you go through enough, it's raining, it's damp outside, you're just going to have issues. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put an O-ring up in the top of this guy. It's got kind of a slot, so it's not a terrible design, but I'm still getting moisture in from somewhere. So I think I'm just going to cut and make my own custom O-ring. And this vent, you can see the vent port here, which I don't technically suspect of being the issue, but it could be. So what I think I'm going to do is hook a vacuum line on there and then run it somewhere down towards the ground. So it's kind of like a turn down deal where moisture, at least from splashing, can't get up and in it. So I kind of like having a vented distributor cap after I've done some research. When that moisture builds up inside of under your cap, where like if you're driving down the road and it's hot and it gets splashed with water, well, that change in temperature is going to cause you know, moisture to build inside of it. So, you know, among other things, you drive it, it's hot, it sits on and then it cools down, it'll get condensation inside of it. Anyway, I'm going to keep with this vented cap, but I guess I'll take some photos along the way here, and we'll check back when I got her all done. And then we'll go and take her and bomb her through a couple of puddles, or 2 or 3, and see how she handles it. Alright, I'm up in my attic here. You can see all the parts I've accumulated from years and years of hoarding. So, anyway, back in this back corner, I have a lot of old like 80s fuel injection setups. I would buy engines for like $200 or $300 on Craigslist and then switch them over to carburation for my own vehicles. But I'm kind of hopeful here. I'm looking at, actually, the old Ford distributors are a 2-piece design as well. So kind of interesting there. This is an old oil pump drive I made for when I would pump up the oiling system on new engines. Made it with a crack socket. But anyway, getting down in here, I'm seeing a distributor and some other parts and pieces of an old, you know, 80s fuel injection deal. So maybe I can stir up one of these rubber boots. Ford used to put these rubber boots over these distributors, and I should have a few laying around. So that might be a good addition to the rot stang. It's just an uncanny resemblance on that distributor how it the MSD and this Ford one look the same. So I'm hopeful to find some good stuff, and definitely it looks like I can get a cheap replacement distributor cap possibly if it fits. I'm going to test that later. Obviously I got one right here in front of me that I can try. Bingo! Found one. So there was one in that box, and that's totally awesome. Hopefully that helps the issue. Definitely that is going to be really ugly under the hood, but you know, looking at the rest of the car, I don't think it's going to hurt it very much. Some other cool parts we have laying around here. When I bought my 65 Galaxy, it had this dual quad high-rise intake sitting in the trunk, so that was a pretty good addition to the $500 car. I don't even know if the guy knew that it was in there. Definitely a vintage unit. It's heavy as all get out, but you know, I don't really want to part ways with it. Someday I might put it on something, or pull it out, clean it up, put it on display. I don't know, but it's way cool. There's a lot of other hidden parts around here from all my motoring stuff I've done over the years, but this is definitely one of the coolest pieces that I've just come across by happenstance. Well, as ugly as that is, I think that should do the trick. It's doing the quintessential no-no here, touching my spark plug wires together and whatnot, but we'll just see how it does, and maybe it'll be a worthwhile sin there, I'm not sure, but should do the job and keep the water out, I'm thinking. We'll definitely test it out. And I forgot to put the rotor in. Awesome. So, obviously I'm human, so let's pull that back apart, get that in there, and then we should be good. Alright, got it on there, and this time all the pieces that are supposed to be inside the distributor are indeed there. So I guess we'll just see how it works out. Hopefully it does what it's supposed to. I don't know, so I guess we'll find out. Alright, here we are. After a heavy rain, it's about 100% humidity out today, and not having any issues, it doesn't seem like. The car pulls right along. Here, we'll grab a really low gear here, and usually it'll cut out under real low RPM, high load, so it just cruises right along there just fine. Revs up just fine, so not breaking up at all. So I guess we fixed our problem, putting that gasket sealer on there and that rubber boot. Must have seemed to have done the trick, so good to go. All right, got the dogs with me today. I forgot to show the part about going through puddles where the car was fine, you know, even though I was going through some heavy rain, so we're just gonna go ahead and take it through some pretty dirty puddles here. So these are some pretty decent ones here. We see the ignition isn't cutting out. Catch a few of these over here. Probably should have shut my window. Get this last one. And so car still has good throttle response, so I'm happy with it. The dogs are happy with it. Gonna need a bath now as we're covered in mud, but hey, you know, it is the rot stang, and that is what I got it to do originally. So anyway, worked out nicely. I'm real happy with it. So it can go through all that, and still it idles and revs up and down just fine. It's not like it's breaking up, so I guess we got that figured out, which is nice, because that was kind of the Achilles heel of the rot stang was rain and moisture, so couldn't be happier about that. Simple fix.